Hi there, this is Anthony Gordon, Artist Relations Manager for Avid. We're coming at you from NAMM 2013, and we are very pleased to have a special guest with us today, Mr. Jez Colin. Hey, Jez.
Hey, Anthony, how's it going?
Good. So, Jez, we know each other for a lot of years. You've been in the music business forever and a day.
Yep, I'm a lot older than I look.
You started music playing in a successful band in Britain in the 90s. You've been a musician, you've been a DJ, Grammy-nominated remixer, producer, film score, trailers. You've done almost every creative job you can have and have been successful at it in music.
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about the evolution of your career from being a dude in a band to all the different roles that you've played.
Absolutely. Well, I started off as a bass player in a band and quickly got a record deal. But before that happened, I started using the Atari 1040 STE
nice.
As a sequencer. It had a whole 4 megabytes of RAM in it, and it was mind-blowing. I could sample things, and I got into the technology really quickly in those days when it was rarer for a bass player to actually put his hands on a computer.
Yeah. So, how would you describe the role technology and the role that your use of, Pro Tools specifically has played in your success and as a, doing all these different jobs in the music business?
Right. Well, I started off working on digital audio workstations before Pro Tools was invented. So I got into it as a MIDI sequencer initially, and I used to use samplers back in the day when you couldn't record hard drive, you couldn't record audio, so a hard drive. So as soon as that became a possibility and the Pro Tools platform emerged, I started recording with Pro Tools and sequencing my MIDI on a sequencer, because that was before Pro Tools actually had MIDI integrated into the sequencer.
So in the last couple of years, you've built a very successful business down here in Southern California doing scores specifically for film trailers.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit how you broke into that, what specific challenges you have doing that, and what you like about it.
Well, I guess that whole plethora of colorful background that I have, from being a bass player to a remixer to a leader of a band to mixing to producing, it all kind of climaxed to this point that I guess gave me a base of credible skills that led to this one point, which is making trailer music. Trailer music, for me, is very similar in aesthetics to remixing tracks. I'm asked all the time for the sounds that nobody's heard before. It's definitely not a stagnant genre. The film marketing guys want to hear stuff that is going to turn heads, and that means coming up with new sounds and new ways to integrate genres and in ways that have never been done before, and it's evolving every few months like that. So it's actually almost a faster evolving style of music than any kind of popular music.
When you're creating scores for film trailers, do you ever reference the score for the film, or do you prefer to take a completely fresh approach?
That's a good question, and it's funny actually. I always assumed that the music that I heard in trailers came from the movie itself. Yeah. In actual fact, we start making music for the trailers way in advance of the guy who's going to score it, because they often haven't even shot the movie yet when the trailers start getting made. They go out and they shoot scenes just to make a trailer maybe a year before the actual release date. So I don't really listen to any music particularly from the movie. I might reference some previous trailers from other styles of or sure, other trailers that relate to that one. If it's a Marvel movie, I might reference the first Thor trailer for Captain America, and that might give me some idea of what the expectation is, but then I still have to take it somewhere else.
What are your thoughts, and knowing that you're a super early adopter of technology, you master it very, very easily, it seems. What are your thoughts on the current state of where recording and production technology is, and where it's going and where you want to see it go?
Well, I'm actually very happy with where things are right now. Obviously, I have that history of really struggling with technology in the early days when it wasn't as fluid and it wasn't as easy to lay something down into a computer and manipulate it sonically and integrate MIDI, and that stuff has evolved to the point when what I find now is that I'm actually more inspired, or I'm actually inspired by the digital audio workstations and Pro Tools, more so than actually feeling that I need more from it, which is a great place to be in. I turn it on and I discover features and plugins and instruments that I've never used before. It's like being a kid in a playground, That's what I love about this music business. Yeah.
We were talking earlier, and I know this isn't breaking news or anything. I've been in this business for over a decade. I'm still amazed. I swear to God, every day when I think about just basic MIDI functionality, the fact that you can write a score and hear a fairly approximate simulation of it as if an orchestra was there, and you think Beethoven never heard half of his music. 10 years ago, if you came up with a score idea, you had to wait until you assembled 40 world-class musicians to ever hear what it really sounded like. Now you're sketching things out, and a lot of those sketches end up being used in the final process. So let me ask you this: when you're doing scores for trailers, and you're doing an orchestral arrangement in MIDI, does that ever end up being recorded by an actual orchestra? And if it does or doesn't, I mean, do you have a strong preference or hear a real massive difference in the final product?
I've never had my MIDI or sequencing replaced by an entire orchestra. I'll enhance it once in a while with some violin, viola, or cello. But these days, it's so realistic, and the tools that we have are so articulate in recreating a human performance that unless it's a very, very delicate sort of top melody that requires a real articulation and a human performance, if it's approximating big string sections, I'm very happy with what I get out of the box these days. There are so many amazing libraries and so many wonderful tools to help create arpeggios and take kind of like the hard work out of it. Yeah, it makes it very easy. One
of the cool things I think about coming to NAMM is you walk around these halls and you see that it's not just the existing ecosystem of sample libraries and all that kind of things. There's a whole industry committed to improving it and to giving you more sounds and better sounds and different articulations. And every year there's more and more and more. Do you feel overwhelmed by it, or do you feel like you're getting more and more colors of paint to paint with?
Well, I'm certainly not able to explore everything that's out there, and that's okay with me, because I'd rather feel that there's still stuff out there that I could look to for inspiration and to create better music. It's frustrating on one level because I'd like to have more time to do that, and but that would mean I'd be less busy in what I do.
Yeah. So finally, what are you hoping to do in 2013? Are you 1,000% committed to the scoring stuff? Are you looking to do more of that? Or are you looking to take on the next challenge in music?
I'm still really enjoying the trailer world. For me, it's the biggest challenge that I've faced in many years. And
what makes it more challenging than making a record or remixing an artist?
Well, there are a few things. First of all, the turnaround time is very quick. I used to make records and I used to spend a week on a mix. These days, I'm very often called to deliver a score the next day,
right,
and it has to be mixed.
So a lot of technology is involved, by the way, in turning around a score that's mixed and delivered digitally in a day.
It's pretty crazy.
Think back 5 years, it's almost unfathomable.
Yeah. I would have spent a day just collecting the samples that I would have needed.
Yeah.
And now everything's there as presets of layouts in Pro Tools are ready to go, and the virtual instruments. Yeah.
It's a good time to be in music.
It's wonderful. It's not getting boring, that's for sure.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming down. We really appreciate it. If this actually is probably going to air a little later, and you might need to edit this part. But Jez is also going to be DJing for us at our party with Fits and the Tantrums tonight. Jez, I've seen you crush it at Winter Music Conference.
That's right.
So you're not just in the studio in the dark. You're still getting out there and.
Well, that's one way of keeping in touch with what's going on out there. Yeah. DJing, which I love to do. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it was great having you here. We're looking forward to have you DJ at the party tonight. And thanks for coming by, Jez.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, you bet. All right, thanks for tuning in. Keep checking it out. We've got more coming at you from NAMM 2013.